All right, we're recording this on Monday, March 20th, so by the time this comes out on Thursday or Friday, a lot of things could have changed. I'm not going to hold you to anything. I'm not going to hold you to anything you may say in the next 15 minutes.
I love it. This is tremendous.
Nor should our viewer, nor should our listener, okay? And I hope you would do the same for me. Who's your MVP right now?
Finally came to a conclusion on it the other night. And look, we still have, 10 games left for these teams? So some, I guess I can be swayed. But as we sit here right now, I'm strong in my opinion. And I wasn't for a while because I was letting it play out. It's interesting the way that this discussion has changed over the years. It used to be, I didn't really get engaged in this discussion here at ESPN as a broadcaster until like March, April. Now we're a month in. Who's your MVP? So this discussion has all these ebbs and flows all year and all these different names, and it's up and down and at different times at different guys in the lead. So I kind of try to, just wait the best I can to be definitive. Because first I'm going to say this. There is not a wrong answer. This is subjective. Subjective. And numbers go into it and team success. And guess what else goes into it? Personal bias goes into it in terms of who the hell do you like to play? And you got to vote for the award. Who do you like watching play? So that's a personal thing, right? It's subjective. There's no wrong answer when you're talking to these top candidates. For me, it's Embiid. And it didn't happen. I'm not a prisoner of the moment. It didn't happen in one moment. But something happened the other night. I was watching the Cleveland game, and he made a play in that game defensively that really just was kind of like this wow moment for me. Like, my goodness, like is he the only guy in the league that could have made that play? And it was a play where Chetty Osman drove down the left slot, came hard at the rim, and Embiid went all in on the block. I mean, jumped as high as he could, had his fingertips like by the top of the square, with his full chest facing Osman on the left side of the rim. Osman goes up and then wraps the ball around his back to Mobley, who's standing right under the rim. A 7-footer, quick off his feet, athletic ability. Embiid hit the ground from the first jump without really finding Mobley, just turned and jumped, spinning his body 180 degrees, jumped and caught the ball at the front of the rim as Mobley was trying to dunk it. And it triggered a fast break layup for James Harden going the other way. And I was like, if I look at the comparison, because I think it's between him and Jokic, they'd be my two favorites. Okay, obviously, Embiid is the better raw scorer. I mean, he's just a dominant scorer. Jokic, clearly a better offense generator, like facilitates everything and gets his number every night. Rebounding, both dominant. So how about that end of the floor, man, and the impact that Embiid has? And I think for me, if you're talking about those two guys, and I think they are the two leaders, that is a differentiating factor for me. They basically have the same number of wins. I know Denver's won in the West, but the way Philly's played for the last 2.5, 3 months, I think they've got the best record in the league, I believe, over that time. The impact that he has on that end of the floor as the last line of defense and an alterer of what teams can do, that, I think, for me this year is the differentiating factor because of these ridiculous numbers he's putting up to go with it.
I have no problem. We're gonna talk about this, but you brought something up that I do find very interesting in that this discourse and this conversation starts like 5 games of the season.
It's crazy.
It's like, can this guy be in the MVP conversation? So, look, earlier by the way, when the odds open on DraftKings for MVP, Luka had the best odds. Mm-hmm. This was last June. Early in the season, Tatum had the best odds.
Did you make a preseason prediction
for MVP?
Yeah.
I said Steph.
Did you say Steph? I said Giannis.
I said Steph.
I said Giannis.
Because I thought Golden State was going to roll.
I picked Golden State to repeat over the Bucks in the finals with Giannis to be the MVP of the league. Those are my preseason predictions.
I don't remember exactly, but I know I thought Golden State, I said regular season prediction. So I had Golden State being the 1 seed. I thought they were going to roll coming off that. And then I had Steph winning MVP.
Do you think Giannis doesn't have a chance right now?
No, I don't think. I think he has a chance.
He has a chance.
He's definitely going to get first place votes.
Yeah.
It
almost comes down to me. It's like, who's going to get the most second place 100%.
Votes? That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Especially in this situation, because you could take any of those 3 guys, right? And there's going to be different orders, right? Everybody's going to have all 3 on their ballot. All of those guys are going to get votes. So it's really comes down to who gets the most second place votes, unless it's one of those years where we're dead wrong, and who knows, like the consensus is overwhelming for one of these two guys, which it could happen that way. I don't expect it. I think it's going to be very tight, very split with the first place votes. So then the question is going to be, who do you put second, and how many second place votes does Giannis get that prevents somebody else from getting them? That ultimately, when you do the math, hands it to one of these two guys at the top.
I just had this revelation. I really did. Because I'm serious. I was thinking about this. Part of the conversation is just these changing odds. I remember there was a time for like 33 games where it was like Kevin Durant.
Oh, definitely.
May win MVP.
Definitely.
25-8 over a 33-game stretch.
Tatum had a long stretch where it looked like him.
I mean, Jokic on December 1st was at plus 2,500. By February 1st, in 2 months, he was the odds-on favorite at minus 380, right? Now we're 6 weeks later. Joel Embiid is the odds-on favorite. Tommy, next year, we're making a pledge. No, we are. We're not going to have an MVP conversation on this podcast until March 1st.
March 1st, I think, is right.
We're going to wait till March 1st.
That sounds like a good day.
I think that's healthy.
And if ESPN tries to make me engage in this, I'm going to abstain. You know what the problem is? But this is part of the thing with this discussion, I think, is games played.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100% the reason Jokic won in 21. That was the 72-game season. Jokic played 72 games. Joel played 51. Right? Their teams were 2 games apart in terms of the win-loss column. Phillies had a better record, and Joel, when he was on the floor or on the court for the games he did play, winning percentage was better than Jokic's winning percentage. Didn't play enough games. And I think that has to get factored into this.
Yeah.
Like, the NBA is talking about having a minimum games played requirement for end-of-season awards. And maybe the individual awards, the number's a little different from all NBA. I think it should be, probably. But I do think the requirement for...
Do you think it should be, 70? Or do you think 65? Or what would that number
65
be?
is realistic.
Okay.
65-ish.
And I
think it's 60 for all NBA.
Is Embiid getting to 65 this year?
Giannis has played in 56 of 71 games.
So 56 plus, what's he got left?
He's got 11 games left, so
he'll
get to 60,
there if he plays.
67.
Yeah, right around there.
Embiid's got to play in 8 more. He's got 12 left. Jokic has played in 64 of 72. I think that matters. I don't think that's the only thing.
Agreed.
I'm not completely. I agree with you. Look, right now, if I had a vote, it would be Joel. 2 weeks ago, before Denver went on this 2-5 stretch, before they lost 4 games in a row, before their defense completely deteriorated, because they actually had a decent defense for about 2.5 months. Yeah. I had Jokic. I
did too.
There was a stretch even when Milwaukee's on that win streak where I'm like, all right, if Giannis keeps playing, and then he had his wrist injury, missed some games. So, like, it changes day to day, week to week.
Definitely.
It changes day to day, week to week. But as of right now, I got, Joel.
It's amazing. Joel was not an all-star starter.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of dumb at the time.
Harden and Brunson weren't in the All-Star game. Both of those guys have legit cases to make All-NBA, and Harden probably will.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I thought Joel was a little bit demoralized at the end of last season with not getting it. And so you wonder, like, what kind of impact does that have on a guy coming into the next year? And then this year, most of the year, his name was not really in that conversation with Tatum and Giannis and Jokic, right? There was those 3 guys. And Embiid just kind of there doing his thing every night. When you watch him play now, man, does he smell it. He wants it. He can taste it. The city wants it for him. It's funny because I talk about, I go on a weekly hit with Philadelphia All Sports Radio. And we always talk about this. And sometimes I'm just like, are you guys more concerned about that or like winning a title? Because it's like, this is a topic every time I come on, because they're so desperate for him to get it. And I understand that, man. They love the guy. He's beloved there. They want him to be rewarded for it. They all obviously think he's the guy. Great. But at the end of the day, like, winning a title should be more important. But the way he's playing right now, part of it is, they had a chance to catch Boston. They've pretty much done it. So they've got a chance to finish 2 now, and I think that's part of it. But I also think part of it is the chatter he's hearing every day. And right now, he feels like they are 50 yards from the finish of a mile race, and he's got a lead, and he's trying to sprint through the tape. Because I thought last year he might have got run down in the home stretch a little bit, because I thought he had control of the award at one point and then didn't get it. And he got hurt for a little bit of a stretch. That in the second half, he had hurt him. But he got run down, and I think he was surprised by that. I think he's trying to sprint through the wire. So he's putting out, like, you're going to see some nights here. As long as they still have to win, you're going to see some 40, 20 games out of him.
Don't they play each other, next week?
Yeah, he still has at Golden State, at Phoenix, at Denver, and he's got at...
They've only played Denver once?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And
I thought he was done with you. I know, he destroyed him at home.
He's got a game against Boston and a game against Milwaukee. Again, it's his to lose. If he dominates in that stretch, and even those, let's say those 5 games, they go 3-2 in those 5 games because they'll probably win the majority of their other games. It's his to lose. The one observation I want to have on this, because you said something that I think is so important, is how subjective this is. And there's a lot of people that want to look at a tell-all stat, and I'm an advanced stat guy. I'm an analytics guy. I believe analytics can help inform us. I believe it can help reinforce what we see. I think there's real value. But I don't believe in that when we talk about MVP. I think there's, in any given year, 5 to 6 factors that you're weighing. And then you make a subjective choice. Because the reality is, all 3 of these guys dominate the game. Mm-hmm. But there's subjectivity in how you perceive their dominance.
Definitely.
And so if you're valuing individual defense, I could see where you'd say, no, Giannis and Joel are more important to me than Jokic. If you're valuing some advanced stats, I could see where you'd say, Jokic is the MVP. If you're evaluating team win percentage when they're on the floor, I could see where Giannis would be the MVP, right? Mm-hmm. So all this stuff, there's never, to me, it's why there's only been 2 unanimous MVPs in the modern NBA.
Yeah, should have been 3, but only 2. Yeah. Shaq.
Yeah, I
missed
agree
it by
that.
1 vote.
I agree with that.
So, yeah, you're right. That's why I said in the beginning, there's no wrong answer. Just make your case intelligently and articulate it any way you want, and you're not wrong because there is that final component. Because it's not like we're plugging a bunch of stuff into a computer and it spits out the winner. These are human beings writing a name on a ballot, and there's who knows ultimately what the final thing is that determines it for you.
The biggest tournament in college basketball is underway, and the action is just getting started on DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings will be featuring parlays and odds boosts all tournament long, so be sure to check the DraftKings Sportsbook app every day to see what they have in store. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up with code JJ. Right now, new customers can bet $5 on any pregame moneyline bet and get $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code JJ. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. We hope you had fun with us today. We hope you laughed. We hope you had fun with us today. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button.